Hidden Object Guru here, joined by...
The Gun Wrangler.
And we're in for a little more Viscera cleanup detail and talking some TV. Specifically, two shows. Now that we are incredibly sad to say that The Expanse is over. For now.
For now.
For now. It got renewed before the last episode ended, and that's what really counts. It is coming back, but before then we got a bunch of other stuff to discuss. For example, and be excited about this, we watched a little show called Barry.
Yeah, it was interesting, to say the least.
Well, here's the thing, and I think my tweet, and I think you just saw this, you just mentioned this, and I definitely remember my tweet when I first finished watching the first season of Barry. My statement was, who on earth called this a comedy? Like,
yeah.
How?
I have to agree with that statement because there is...
nothing funny about it? Well, no, I mean, that's not entirely accurate. There are some absurd situations, right? And there really are. There are some situations that are rife with absurdity. Like,
yes.
There are things that are so over the top that you
For instance,
kind of
the
have
entire
to
character of NoHo Harry.
NoHo Hank.
Yes.
Yeah, NoHo Hank. One of my favorite characters. Oh my god, he's so good. That actor is so good. Because he was in Gotham, he was in... what's the other show he was on?
Banshee.
Banshee, right, he's on Banshee. Oh, that guy
as the
so
psychotic
good.
Rapist.
Yeah. It's weird seeing him play such a light part, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And he's so funny. He does such a great job in this show. You would not believe the amount of blood there is up here. Oh my god. Do you happen to have a door code? Because I'm looking to see if we can find a barrel dispenser, a bucket dispenser or something up here.
I'm not
did
sure.
you come across a door code in any of the files you came across?
None that I found.
You haven't been reading the files, have you?
No, I found them.
Okay.
Notes.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, let me know if you... No door code, huh?
No door
We're gonna have to
code.
look for it. Alright, but yeah, North Hollywood Hank is fantastic. Yeah, he's just such a great performance. Oh god, his right from his taking his webcam along to an assassination and on. And I gotta say, one of the things I really loved about it, right, was there are these moments of like broad absurdity, right? But
I'd like to note that, okay, I can understand. I can understand bringing a webcam along to a hit.
Yeah.
If you have a certain level of competence. Because otherwise I could just be like, yeah, give me those, $60,000. Yeah, I killed the guy and I was at home in my underwear drinking Mountain Dew and eating Cheetos all night. And
yeah, but that being said, if the guy's not dead, I don't think they're going to pay you the rest of the money. And it's not like these are hired assassins. They work for that guy.
Yeah.
They're not professional, independent operators the way Barry is. Which, so no, it's hugely unprofessional to bring along a camera on that kind of job. Because you're just carrying around a record of you shooting a guy in his car from a decent distance away. It's not like the boss wanted to see the guy getting tortured. And there are moments like that. Like, there are bits in it that are so over-the-top horrible and absurd that, yeah, it gets into the realm of comedy. But that's not the vast majority. Like, okay, for example, the guy who's a big part of his torture technique is making a guy watch him build the torture paraphernalia.
Yeah,
like,
that's funny.
That's a funny joke. Because you hear for the whole episode, you hear a buzzsaw going off in the background. And no, the guy was woodworking. Like, that's a good joke. But that is a joke within the context of...
like, in the first 2 episodes, we see some dude get half his teeth filed out.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, that was terrible. Right?
And as someone who underwent a... Yeah, okay. As someone who underwent a recent root canal...
Yeah.
Just watching that made me wince.
I would imagine. God. All right, I can't carry buckets through that doorway, so I'll just let you burn that later.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Like, there's this really gruesome torture in there with the comedy, but I think more than that, right? It is not a show whose primary, like, the primary language it uses is not the setup and the punchline of comedy. It is a character study of just a completely broken man and the horrible situations he gets into because he trusted the wrong person.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's more like, imagine finding out you're Picasso, but you're the Picasso of murder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, like, shouldn't you chase the thing you're good at? Well, maybe if it's murder, no.
And
he is
Poor
great at
Barry
murdering
has to
people.
deal with that and the consequences of,
Yeah. Well, no, and that's the thing. I think you make a good point there by calling him the Picasso of murder because, like, let's face it, he did not acquit him. Like, he was not an army hero. He did not have such a great time in the army that he could have stayed for life. It was obviously... He spends the whole show PTSDing pretty hard.
Yep.
Like, he's not coping with it well at all. He's living in his childhood bedroom when we meet him, with his arm with a purple heart on the wall from the time he got injured. And I don't know, did we find out what that injury was? I don't think we did.
I don't think it ever came up.
Yeah, because he's got a purple heart, but we didn't find out the details of it. Oh, hey, we got a file here. It says, primary directive, eliminate the crazed Dr. Mord. Oh, Jesus.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's not the code, so thanks. Game. But yeah, it's very interesting because he spends the whole show PTSDing really hard, and he's the only positive influence in his life is this one guy who exploits him. Like, the only guy telling him he's worthwhile is this guy who brutally exploits him. Which is why he is so desperate for any positive affirmation he gets in the acting community.
Yeah.
And I really was impressed by that.
Admittedly, I would like to make a remark.
Yeah.
The gunplay is pretty good.
Super accurate? Was it
I wouldn't say it's super accurate, but I'm like, yeah, no, this passes muster.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's doing stances that look professional. Like, he seems to be moving well. When he's walking around with a gun, he seems to be keeping it close. Like,
I'm surprised
the
that
gun close
someone
to his chest.
like him would actually get the training. Because that's training.
Well, he was
Looks
special.
good.
Well, no, I mean, the character was special forces. So
Yep.
I think Bill Hader is. I think he sees this part as a way to introduce himself to the world as a serious actor, and I think he does a great job. Like, I think the part and the vehicle does a great job of accomplishing that. Like, I really think it says, yeah, this guy is serious about his craft and he's good at his job, because I think he's amazing on this show.
He is. It's really good. Like, he has that psychotic break at the end where he's just, he's losing it.
Yeah, completely. Where he has completely lost it. And the thing is, it is so much fun to watch a good actor play a bad actor. I love watching his nerves when he has his head down and he is, like, monotoning through the parts he's asked to prepare for the theater. Because he has that, he's just so unbelievably shy and not wanting to be looked at. And everyone's like, yeah, you can't do that if you're going to be an actor.
And the fact that, like, before we've only really known him from SNL.
Yeah.
And other communist propaganda, so, like...
Literally the craziest way to describe SNL, but keep going. But yeah, we've only seen him from these broad comedy parts, cameos, like small parts here and there. Like, has he ever had a lead before?
He has not had a lead before, to my knowledge.
Wow. So to just break out with this, and I think it's brilliant because he has found the perfect showcase for his talent.
Yeah.
Because he's on screen for a good amount. Like, they're 30-minute episodes, and he's usually on screen for like 2/3 of that.
5 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
No, I think he gets up to 20 in a bunch of the episodes. But yeah,
No, I meant more in terms of like he's more accustomed to an SNL format.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for a much smaller section. So yeah, this is showing him in a long form. It's a good performance in this more long form setting that really impresses me, especially because he is.
I sent you up a bunch of supplies.
Oh,
so
thank
if
you
would
so
mind
much. Yeah, I will start
emptying.
cleaning that up here. Yeah, I will start cleaning up here, and then I'll send the dirty buckets back down.
Yep.
That's actually a really smart way to handle this. Bravo. Yeah, he's it's such a smart thing for him to do as an actor, to take this kind of part where and again, to co-create it. Because it's not like he just got this part, he co-created it with an eye towards playing this part and an eye towards getting noticed. And I think he will get noticed. I didn't check, but I would be surprised if he didn't get an Emmy nomination in the comedy section. I would be shocked if
comedy.
He didn't. Well, no, it's not a comedy. It's obviously not a comedy, but they're telling people it's a comedy. Like, no one would say that Better Call Saul was a comedy. Better Call Saul is more consistently funny than the show Barry. Barry is unbelievably bleak and hard to watch.
It is.
Because, you get to a scene, and I mean, we all saw this scene, and again, if you haven't seen the show yet, we're just full-on recommending that everybody with a strong stomach watch the show Barry.
Definitely.
Oh, it's great television.
Yeah, and by the way, spoilers, if you can't tell.
And we're going to start spoil big things now.
Yes.
So you get that scene where he has teamed up with a psycho. He is, with through some fault of his own, but through very little fault of his own, he has gotten himself teamed up with just a psycho. A guy who misses the war every day. Who misses that he doesn't get to shoot people anymore. And he's like, yeah, I want in on shooting people professionally. And you see this terrifying scene where, like, Stephen Root, who, again, never greater than playing the guy who's exploiting Barry, Barry's dad's friend, who has decided to, make his career to manage Barry and exploit him pretty badly, because I think it's fairly clear that we have no idea how much Barry should be getting paid for the job he's doing, but
whatever it is, he's not getting paid enough.
Yeah, he's not getting paid. Like, Stephen Root is not telling the truth about what Barry's getting paid for these jobs.
Yeah.
Like, quite clearly, there is money unaccounted for. But anyway, the guy who's exploiting Barry, right? And you scene where he's like, you should probably take this guy out, he says. And Barry, who just, he doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have a real life. He's like, maybe I can make it work with this absolute psychopath. And then they go, and the two of them raid a stash house with 20 guards in it.
Yeah, and they murder their way through.
And
that was technical shooting excellence. I did enjoy that.
It looked great. Okay, but, that stuff felt accurate.
Like, here's the thing. On the flip side of that, you had this total absolute psychopath.
Yeah.
Who was, in that small time, better than Stephen Fuchs' character.
Yeah.
To Barry.
Yes, he was. He was a better friend than Stephen Root was. Yeah. Right, he was trying to be close to him.
Yes, he was trying to be good to him, actively gave him money and stuff like that.
Oh, God, that scene where he comes to the house. Where he comes to the guy's house and the guy, just doesn't even turn off the pornography. And gives him his half of the money, but it's like that moment in the raid. And again, this is where I really feel like he deserved an Emmy nomination, if not the Emmy, where Barry's like, you know what, it's fine. He just is like, it's fine if you kill me, guy. He's just ready for this to be over. And then, of course,
the fact that he was looking at killing this. Listen, I've met enough guys like the stupid partner.
Yeah.
And they are phenomenal people if you can manage them. It's like, listen, he was more honest than Fuchs was at any given point. He was, while he did not have two brain cells to rub together.
No.
He
No, but I mean, he was very open about what his desires were, and that's one of the themes. Like, he misses doing this. Like, he misses what he used to get to do, and he's like, if my job can be shooting guys and getting paid big money to do it, why would I not want that job? And he is a guy who is, in his own way, fully self-aware of who he is. He's an idiot, but he is fully self-aware. He is a fully actualized person in a way that Barry never is. He is an idiot, and his plan to go and take out an airstrip is to drive a car straight at the armed men in the airstrip.
Yeah.
By the way, that's how you end an episode.
That was a phenomenal ending to an episode.
Oh, God, having to wait a week. I had to wait a week after that happened. You got to watch it right away.
Oh, yeah, I just binged it. I went like 2 days. It was like, okay, watch 2 episodes, play RimWorld an hour. Watch 2 episodes, play RimWorld an hour.
That's a depressing kind of afternoon. Oh,
it really was.
Yeah.
But no, the thing is with his character, I could see that. Like, I've known enough guys like that he was essentially a good guy.
Yeah.
But he had no grasp of subtlety.
No.
And,
not at all.
You know, it's one of those things, looking back, if Barry had just been like, you know what? I'm going to take this, but I'll give you 10 grand. He would have been like, okay.
Yep, he'd be fine.
And I'll get you on for the next one, because we're definitely getting a next one. He would have been like, okay, I'm going to keep getting high and watching porn.
I know! Because that was his whole life.
And,
God.
He could... Here's the thing. Barry could have very easily stepped into the Fuchs role.
Yeah. And just started managing that guy. Yeah. And he would have been better at it.
Mentoring him, and he would have been better at it, more fair.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, he had an avenue that he could have managed, but he was so desperate to get out that he didn't see that there's a way to segue out of this rather than the hard out that no one wants you to do.
And just, quit.
Yeah. Yeah, and the quitting is just going to get you into huge trouble.
Well, what are you going to do?
And then,
right?
oh my God.
How is Barry going to become employed?
No, that's true. he can't be around people.
Well, no, how about this?
He can't be around people and he has no skills.
What transferable skills does he have?
Yeah, exactly. He has no skills and he can't be around people. Like, you can't move him into bodyguarding because, you know, he's too prone to, what is it, the fight or flight violent reactions.
No,
like, no
all of his reactions were actually fairly on the dot.
Yeah?
Like, when he's ambushed by the incompetent Chechens, he's like, guys, don't do this, please.
Oh.
Don't do this. You really have to? All right, well, then.
All right, fine.
Yep.
Boom! Shoots 2 of them in the car.
Yep.
Such a good scene. And of course, Hank runs off because we love Hank. And the show loves Hank. And who could blame them for loving Hank? And then we get the next episode where he is briefly saved by his friend, who he then has to execute.
Yeah.
Oh. That's a rough scene to watch.
Yeah, and he's like just pointing his gun at the back of the guy's head, and he's like,
oh. Oh, man. But, I mean, watching this scene where it's like they're in the car, right? And all he has I'm going to need a new container at some point. They're in the car.
Yep. I'm offloading your garbage right now.
Thank you so much. And as you're watching the scene, you know there is a way that if Barry had social skills, if Barry had the ability to logically think things through and explain things, you know there's a way to talk this guy out of going to the police, right? But Barry doesn't have that ability.
Yeah, he has... I think the fundamental issue is Barry has no leadership skills.
No.
None.
I think that's true. Yeah.
All right.
He can't manage people.
Enjoy fresh supplies.
Thank
you,
Manley.
He can't manage people. He can hardly manage himself, to be honest.
No, that's true. Like, he's very bad at just controlling himself and getting what he wants. Yeah, and identifying what he wants and what he should have. Like, these are not skills the man has. And there is a way that conversation could have gone where his friend doesn't end up shot in the head with a fake suicide.
Yeah.
Like, there's a way that scene could have ended well, but Barry can't find it, which is what moves this into, into tragedy. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it really does. And then we get, honestly, you want to talk about performances from Bill Hader? Oh my God, the Macbeth scene.
Yeah.
Feeling these authentic tears. Like, it just feels true from the character in that moment. That was powerful.
Yeah.
So can we talk about Barry's girlfriend for a minute?
Oh, she's just a sack of cunts.
Oh my God, she's so terrible.
She is like...
She's so awful.
She is absolutely toxic.
Oh, yeah, she is. Yeah.
He rolls up, he's like, listen, I saw your screen was cracked. I went out of my way
I know.
to do this nice thing for you.
Yeah. Although, in the kind of relationship they had, that does seem... Because you gotta remember, from her point of view, that does seem a little too nice.
Yeah.
Because she is in an industry where there is a frightening amount of transactional usage of people.
Yes.
So, the whole idea that he could do something kind... and she would just accept that it was just a kind thing with no strings attached. Although, are there no strings attached? Because look at the fantasy he has as he's going to bring her the thing. Because he does imagine a certain level. I mean, even within his own mind, while he's trying to do something nice, there is an amount of transactionalness to the vision of it in his head in the John Hamm scene, which I was very happy to see John Hamm there.
Yeah.
Just for a second.
I don't know. For me, it seems like
she overreacts.
Barry is just
Yeah.
profoundly damaged to the point where he just doesn't know any better.
No,
He's
he
not
doesn't.
going to... He thinks that, okay, I'm going to fix this problem. She'll
And
be
then
happy.
she'll
She'll
like
like
me
me.
Yeah, she'll like me more, and then our relationship will continue. But, there is a problem that $3,000... Here, have $3,000. That's an over solution to the problem.
Yes, but as we
Yeah.
see, he can barely... Okay, here's my perspective.
Go.
I am sympathetic towards Fuchs because he has to manage Barry day in and day out. And this is a guy
Yes.
who,
On the borderline all the time.
on the borderline of, if nothing else, suicide.
No, he's
At any
ready. Again,
given-
there's a scene there are more than one scene in the show where he is ready to kill himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right to mention that. He is ready to kill himself a couple of times in this show.
And
And again, we're talking about something that has been labeled a comedy. For some reason. Alright, we got
and he would be
download.
he'd be totally okay with just offing himself.
Oh yeah. Well, again, I go back to the raid scene where he freezes up and he's like, you know what, it's fine, just shoot me. That's gonna be fine. I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem going out like this. And then he gets rescued, and then he gets rescued, and it gets, all the more entertaining from there.
Yeah.
But he's ready to go, and he's also ready to go at the end of the season. On one level. Oh God,
Really?
damn it. Sorry. He's also. I'm just gonna let you carry that because you don't have the physics problems I have.
Yeah.
All right, you carry these gosh darn things. But yeah, he's ready to go a couple of times in the season, and that's what makes it so powerful. And God, the absurdity, the grand absurdity of everything coming up Barry. All of the stuff that accidentally happened, conspiring to make it look like he had no involvement in any of this. Him, the model actor ending up with, hiding the money in the Fonz's studio, Henry Winkler's, I called him the Fonz, Henry Winkler's studio, the guy stealing Barry's book, which was, of course, the actor's book we had given to Barry, like the way it all folds together, right down to him crouching to shoot every ball of the Chechens. So they wind up thinking that it was...
It's the Bolivians, yeah.
It's the Bolivians who are all ridiculously short. Oh, God. All right, all of that coming together so Barry could get away with it, but no. Then they still have to punch us in the gut and end the season that way.
Yep.
Oh. And I mean, the thing is, you know when everything's going well and there's 5 minutes left in the episode that it's not going to end well.
Yeah.
Like, but they could have gone the Breaking Bad season 5.5, just having people find out and leaving a question mark for where that leaves next season, instead of going the way they did and having him kill her. A cop who we've been following the entire show, who is, you know, the love interest for Henry Winkler's character, who's a wonderful character in her own right.
Yes.
Getting killed by Barry, and that's how the season ends.
He didn't have a choice. It's just
No,
like
he
him and the
didn't.
Chechens.
Yeah. No, I understand. He can't, he can't. He just wants out. And I mean, on one level, you can say, well, you could have just paid for your crimes, because he is a criminal, but he doesn't see himself that way, right? And no, he could never turn himself in. And if it comes down to killing somebody or turning himself in, he'll kill somebody. And that's just what it comes down to.
By the the flip side of that, he's finally gotten everything he's wanted. He's got a stable relationship.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
aside from the fact that it's with a woman who's damaged and
super damaged. Yeah. Try reading the files. See if we can get the
tremendously
code.
unstable, right?
Yeah. No, don't put the files away. Read them all. Keep them out until we've read them, so we can keep track of which ones we've read. Yeah. But yeah, no, she's damaged. His acting teacher is a buffoon, you know? Like, because it's not like he is on a... I mean, he might be on the track for success. We don't know. But there's no obvious way that he is on the track for success. But where he started from... You know, where he started from, this looks like a beautiful future. It's the best life. At the end of that season, he is living the best life he has ever lived.
Yes.
And that might be a slightly ridiculous life, and it may not, you know, be going anywhere significant. He may never make it as an actor, but he has something to defend for the first time in his life. And that's what's key. For the first time in his life that we've known him, so the first time in the show, he's not a little suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
Because the him of how many weeks ago would have said, okay, just shoot me. You know? Would have said,
been like,
okay, just shoot me.
Yeah.
He would have been okay with that. But now he's got something to fight for, and that makes it so much sadder. Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. I mean, it is a heart-wrenching show.
Highly recommend. It's like
you have to
The
watch
Shield.
Yeah.
It's heart-wrenching, but you have to watch it.
Yeah. Oh, The Shield. Oof. That was a rough one. And
I have
Shield,
it all on DVD because I am that much of a fan.
Yeah, and a masochist, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, that's a bleak 5 seasons of television. Or was it 6 seasons at the end? Did they do
7 seasons.
It was a full 7 seasons. Oh my god.
The last one is just...
Oh, heartbreaking. Endlessly heartbreaking over and over again.
like-
Yeah, I mean, you know nothing is ever going to go well for anybody after Shane kills Lem.
Yeah.
You know it's over. It's over for all of them. Spoiler alert. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, the one good guy in the team, he murders.
I wouldn't even say he's the one good guy, and this
Yeah.
torso doesn't fit. It's...
What?
Lem
I'll
is...
just carry it down. I'll just... No, yeah, here, I'm going to pick it up and you push the down button on the elevator so I don't get the blood everywhere. Well, no, but I think Lem, like, honestly believes they're doing the right thing.
Well, because generally they are. Because between
Yeah, no,
option A
generally
of...
they are. Yes. Yeah, it's a terrible situation dealing with the gangs. Like, the gang situation is terrible, and all of the crazy stuff they have to do, and the really shady stuff they have to do to keep these absolute villains in check, I understand. But the fact is, they're also super corrupt.
Yeah.
And Lem is the only one of them who honestly wasn't corrupt in his heart at all. Who honestly believed that this was the only way to handle it, and the corruption was just something you had to do to be a part of that world. You know, and the fact is, you can fight, you can do these horrible things to battle drug dealers without also being corrupt yourself. You can be you might be a villain. I mean, you saw Sicario, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can be a bad guy for good reasons without also being corrupt. And Shane and Vic are corrupt. Right? And the fourth member of their team, who did not get any personality across 7 seasons of television, might also have been corrupt. I can't really speak to it because he has no character.
And he's got no FaceTime. It's like, Ronnie, go and run this down.
Ronnie, yeah. Ronnie's just always there. He gets in season 2, he gets his face burned off.
Yeah.
And then or was that season 3? But anyway, he gets his face burned off by a psychopath. And then he spends, like, 2 seasons with scars and the backstory of him having surgery. But he never gets a character. He never gets a plot line. Like, we never find out anything about Ronnie.
Yeah.
Right? And but Lem is the one guy who he just believed they were doing all of it was the right thing. Right? And, you know, and that's why he had to go. You know?
Yep.
And it's so tragic. And yeah, and I mean, it's weird to say that, like, this is a tragedy on the level of The Shield. Like, I think it really is.
That's an accurate statement.
Yeah, it really is that kind of horrible a tragedy. But the difference is, no one would have ever called The Shield a comedy. You know? Like, no one would ever have tried to say, oh yeah, you know, famous comedy show, The Shield. Even though The Shield could be funny from time to time.
Yeah, periodically.
As bleak as it was. Oh, God. But yeah, so here's my question. Season 2 of Barry. What is it?
I think it's him returning to life just to make ends meet.
Oof. Like, he has to go back because he can't get a job. Yeah, because you need money to live in this world that he's in. And, yeah, I mean, because you're right, it's not like he's going to get jobs acting.
It's not like he's going to get, like, what possible transferable skills does he have in the meantime?
No, he doesn't. Yeah, he really can't. And I mean, and he's still got Hank out there who loves him, you know?
Yeah, exactly, and that's just it. It's going to be...
Hank still loves him. Hank's going to need stuff done. Hank is Barry's best friend in a lot of ways.
Which is pretty bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a bad best friend to have. I think that's completely accurate. Like,
and I'm pretty sure we'll see Fuchs back.
Oh, no, definitely. Yeah. Stephen Root, we're going to see more of him. But yeah, I guess that is logically the only place we can go. He has to get the job back, or there's no second season. I saw a lot of people saying, should there be a second season after that episode? Like, maybe just end the show there. And dramatically speaking, if it were a movie, you could end it there with his wonderful tagline, starting now. You know?
Yeah.
I can put everything behind me. If I just keep picking, you know, close off points for my life, eventually I can succeed in putting this behind me, is Barry's message. And he never can. Which is the tragedy of Barry. But it's an ordeal. Like, watching it was an ordeal. You know?
Not to say that we both didn't enjoy it, but...
Of course we enjoyed it, but, you know, the way you enjoy watching something that just takes your breath away over and over. We enjoy it like you enjoy a roller coaster. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a thrill to the audaciousness of how unexpected the show can be. And how uncompromising the show is. And I'm going to use the roller coaster comparison again, because the whole way up, right? The whole way up that
Do you mind getting the door for me?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Thanks.
right, the whole way up that steep climb, you know what the drop is going to feel like, and you see it coming, but there's no divergence. It never leaves the tracks, you know? And in the same way, Barry is always barreling towards a big tragedy. You know it's coming. You know it's going to be bad. And it's more heart-wrenching than a roller coaster is, because Barry could make the right decision, but he's so flawed as a character, as a human being, that you know he doesn't have the personality or the skills that he's capable of doing it.
I would say that instead of that,
Yeah.
no, Barry has skills. He's stuck in an impossible position. Because, let's be honest, what else is he gonna do?
No, yeah, he doesn't have any options.
Is he
can't
gonna
go back to the army.
Can't go back to the army.
Yeah.
Can't.
I mean, honestly, I was going to say he could take up work as a mercenary, but realistically, that's already what he's doing. You know?
like,
he's
what's he gonna
already
do?
working as a
Go work at
mercenary.
Starbucks?
Exactly. Like, he can't function in normal society, so this is what is left to him. Become
could-
an actor or become a murderer. You know?
Well, he becomes both things,
And he becomes both things.
and it's kind of a lateral movement in both
Oh,
cases.
no, it is. And I mean, I think the place where the show works satirically, where the comedy works, is how welcoming Hollywood is to broken people. You know? How it is like, it is an entire huge community. Do me a favor, close the door. I'm going to clean the blood stain off the inside of the door. So send me up. No, send me up. Oh, yeah, take the crate out first, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Then send me up, and then I'll clean off this blood stain. All right. Done and done.
Yep, but
Yeah, and
I mean, the contrast is,
he's welcomed
I mean,
by that.
Hollywood is accepting of broken people,
Yeah. It also breaks people.
except if you're, to the right of Trotsky.
Well, no, there are people who get around as long as they don't talk politics, but that's another conversation. But yeah, like
No, they don't talk left.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on, because there's something
Yeah.
else we both desperately need to talk about.
Oh my God, is there ever? Start it up.
Travelers. Oh, man.
Yeah, they went overboard this year.
Like, it feels kind of like the format we had in The Expanse, where there was kind of, like, demi-seasons.
Yeah. No,
You do
that's
that
what they
first
do.
take
They
that
do
I put
6
on.
episodes. No, they do 6 episodes, and then they do 7 episodes. That is what they do. That is how it feels. We're in a whole new world after the big episode 6. Like them defeating the rebellion, kind of.
Kind of.
Got us moving after number 6. Although we're going to talk about how Enrico Colantoni seems to have teamed up with the rebellion in the
How would we-
past.
We actually don't know the politics of the faction.
No, we don't. We don't know what. Yeah, well, they think they know better.
Yeah.
We do know that. We know that they think they know better because they seem to sincerely believe they have I mean so it's interesting because the director fundamentally, like, he seems I said he, Jesus.
Yeah.
Personifying the director. Seems to seems callous. But at the same time, compared to the faction, clearly the director values human life and wants to do as little damage to the future as possible, because the logic of the director is, and this could be faulty logic, that you gotta you gotta take steps to fix the future. But the faction seems to understand that, like, how shall I put this? The director has a line the director won't cross. And that is major changes to the past, because the director seems to want to fix the future without stopping the director from coming to pass. Because it
Okay.
is possible that killing off 30% of the world's 20% of the world's population would have been a seismic enough shift to keep their terrible future from happening. Because they think like the faction identified overpopulation as the most vital thing causing the destruction of the environment and the hell they're living in the future. Because you got to remember, there was a terrible meteor strike that wiped out a huge amount of the population. When they stopped that, the faction cropped up, and the new big threat was overpopulation. So, like, whatever damage, what's interesting is the big threat has changed. The meteor was the big threat, and they figured if the meteor hadn't destroyed our environment and wrecked our planet, we would have been able to hold on. There would be a better future. But when they stopped the meteor, they created the overpopulation problem. And that's what so the faction was created to fight a whole new problem. You know, that's why the faction didn't exist until they stopped the meteor.
Yeah. But, I mean, by that same token,
yeah,
there is a certain amount of empathy on behalf of the director.
Yes. That's true.
He doesn't just overwrite McLaren.
Oh, no, anybody. No, and he will only overwrite people who are going to die.
Or who are faction members.
Or who are well, yeah, but I mean, they've already stolen those bodies. There's no getting those humans back, so, you know. He will overwrite faction members.
I really did appreciate that. That's a really good idea. It's like, okay, we're just going to upload junk YouTube videos, and that's going to be our greatest weapon.
I know. Oh, that was so good. Okay, here's something I liked. So can we talk about what a great thrill ride 207 is? 17 minutes. Thrill ride 207 is. Where we see what it's like from the point of view of the director trying to change the future over and over again.
And he sends, 8 people back.
8 people back to the same moment in time.
He kills 8 people.
Well, yes, he kills 8 people. Well, he kills
7?
9 people.
Yeah, more.
Because because you got to remember, the guy...
Nope.
Oh, no, I guess 8 exactly.
No.
Oh, wait, no, we're taking that upstairs, right? I forgot, sorry. No, you're right. He kills 8 people on the nose because her chute was gonna. Her chute wasn't gonna fail, but she was gonna screw up in some way, and she was gonna die on the landing.
There's a midair collision, and she passes out.
And she passes out. Yeah, they wonk into each other, but then her waking up and flailing ends up knocking out her brother, and so originally he was going to survive, but now he's not going to survive. Because because she waking up slams into him in midair, which was a nice change, right? And so after she is copied over so many times, 6 times,
and
that
she becomes
non-viable. Yeah, exactly. Like her brain is just crushed by doing it 6 times, which we've already learned that's why. It's so risky to do adults. Like, sometimes you can have a brain aneurysm because it's a stressful thing. And doing 6 times in a row, you're guaranteed the brain aneurysm. Which was pretty... it's a rough one. And so they send the guy to finish the job. And then, the mute guy makes the big mistake of killing somebody in his... because he gets frustrated.
Yep.
His key mistake, because that gives them... And again, this is how fair... the director plays with the rules. The director waits until that guy got killed before, because he could replace that guy at any time. Because they knew where and when that guy was because of the head camera, the helmet cam. But they don't, they don't do it just because, they're like, no, we play by rules. Then the mute guy shoots him and we're all fair game. Which was nice. And I gotta say, how fair game were we, though? Because it's not like they copy him over right before the mute guy gets there. Like, it's only a variable of what their guy does that decides whether the mute guy shoots him or not. So, as usual, they're playing a little fast and loose with the rules.
It's something I'd also like to bring up. I mean, why was the mute guy there?
Oh, no, and that was my point. My point was the mute guy seems to be there because the faction has teamed up with Enrico Colantoni. Because those aren't Enrico Colantoni's people. They're faction people in the water. But the mute guy works for Enrico, meaning they have teamed up. Because Enrico's people don't... He was definitely working with the guys in the water, but he has no way to find out when this meteor landed that gave them the mineral they needed to create... to figure out how to make room temperature superconductors.
I thought he did, because he was the historian.
Yeah, but I don't think he has everything. I doubt he has everything. I'm saying I think those were faction people, and enough has changed that it would be weird. So you think those guys all worked for Enrico Colantoni? See, I assumed they had teamed up.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. See, whereas I figured that because... I mean, I actually wondered how much he had as a historian, because it's not like they were sending him back... He was sent back to die immediately. So I assumed his information wouldn't have gone that deep. But you could be right that the faction was not involved in that episode at all.
Yeah.
My first assumption was that they definitely were.
Well, that's it. Because we know that Baldy's big nemesis is the director, because he's whacked.
Because he's trying to kill him. Yeah, and so are the faction. So these guys are gonna want to team up at some point.
Even if they don't team up, they're not working at cross purposes at all.
No, they're absolutely on the same side of things. And that's why my logical assumption was that there's no way, even though he was kind of a historian, because we know he had enough information to do all of the stock stuff, because they didn't send him back to do anything other than die, I doubted personally that he would have had enough information to know about the landing site of the landing site of the meteor. But you could be right that was not a faction team up with him, that those were just his guys.
Or it could be something simple as, like, that meteor dropping down is as big as Tunguska is right now.
Is to us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody just knows about it.
Yeah.
That is possible, yeah. Although if that was the case, they should have had a little more security and figured that the faction would want in on this. But that's another conversation.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next episode.
Yeah.
Which was also quite impressive. We had a bunch of what do you call it? We had a bunch of big stuff happening because we had a trial of maybe my second favorite character. I love the guidance counselor so much.
Yeah, she's actually a lot of fun.
Much. She's so good. Oh, she's so brutal. She's so mean. And the weird part is, I'm wondering what's going on with this trial, because she was obviously in the right. She might have done it the wrong way, and I can see that they think she did it in the wrong way, but she obviously did the right thing. And of course, there's a reason for the trial, which, they made us wait all episode. Can I say one thing that bothered me about this episode?
Sure.
Okay, so the club, right? The club gets attacked, right? And the faction gets themselves 50 new people, right?
Yep.
And they're planning to do something with the array to get the rest of their people out of it. We don't know, they want to use her code to kill the guys in the future, to kill the director in the future, and get everybody of theirs out of the array, it seems like.
Yeah.
But then, so they have evidence that everybody in the club has been taken. And these characters, who have been reliably pretty smart, right, up until this point, their plan is to go to the door of a person they saw get taken over and say, "We know you're with the faction, what are you planning?"
Yeah.
That scene made no sense to me.
Well, because here's what would have happened if you were dealing with an actual faction member.
Yeah.
Knock, knock. Hey, we're some of the director's people. Can we ask you a few questions?
I already have to
and
shoot
then,
you.
and then 2 loads of buckshot go through the door and into them.
Like, that scene makes no sense. All of these characters, like, they know to just surveil her. Why were they not just surveilling her? Like, it just seems to me crazy that should have been their only priority, was to immediately put her under surveillance and then wait to see what happened. But the thing is, structurally from the show, they can't do that because they want it to be a surprise that where the doctor is being taken, right? They want it to be a surprise that the doctor is being taken there, and there was a traitor in the future, and oh no, that's what they were up to all along. So I get it, but at the same time, I'm kind of, eh. So, can we talk about how the director talks to people?
The whole child abduction issue?
No, not the child abduction issue. The fact that that's how they send messages. If the director personally wants to actually have a conversation in the past, like, I guess getting in the director in your head is either so deadly or gives you so much information that it's dangerous, he will only communicate with people's last words.
Yeah.
So he has his people go around, find 24 people who are all around the world who are about to die, sets up webcams over their face so that their last words can be an interaction. Like, their last words can form an interaction with the guidance counselor.
Yeah.
That's an amazing scene.
It is pretty, yeah.
That was so creative. I don't know what caused that, but wow. Who killed all the faction members?
Well, remember, they're one of several.
Yeah, because we just had this whole conversation about how it would make sense if they're working with Enrico Colantoni.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, who the hell shot all the faction members? And I assume they were until this next episode where they get there and all the friggin' faction members have been shot. And the plan's over. Like, what? Oh, it's so frustrating.
I don't know.
Oh, it's such a good show,
if I had teamed up with someone
yeah.
and I was like, oh, so this plan failed horrendously.
You might get rid of all evidence of their connection to you
Yeah.
immediately. Okay, I see that logic. I'm about to do something stupid. I'm going to try to use the laser to destroy that alien foot that's stuck under the table.
That's, yeah.
I think it's our only option because we've cleaned everything else. I think it's our only option. But I'm hoping that when it turns into a chunk of meat, it gets like thrown out from under the table or gets into a place where we can grab it. Alright, so wish me luck. Come on.
Just commit to it.
Alright. Is that it? No, it's a chunk of meat we still can't reach. God damn it. Well, you know what? We got pretty close to fully cleaning this place out.
I got it.
Do you have it? You have the meat.
Ha!
Oh, genius play. Nice work. Yeah, so it's, how do I put this? It's so... I mean, it's so intriguing. I'm sure we're going to learn everything in the next 3 episodes. The show is very good at season enders. It's as good at season enders as anybody. So I'm sure we're going to learn it, but it's like, I keep... It's so frustrating having to wait. You know? It's so frustrating having to wait for all these answers.
It kind of is.
Even though we know it's going to be worth the payoff.
We
will full stop know it's going to be worth the payoff. It's a great TV show.
It's kind of like Counterpart.
It is. Like, it tortures us.
I don't know. I think we're seeing a renaissance in sci-fi.
I think that's true. Of, like, just really great sci-fi.
Yeah.
Because we got 3 great sci-fi TV shows on at the same time.
Probably
when
more.
When does that happen? You think there's more that we're not watching?
Well, so we've got Counterpart, Expanse, Travelers.
Yeah. Right.
Altered Carbon is pretty dope.
Okay. But wasn't that a limited series? You know what? It doesn't matter if it's a limited series.
It's been renewed, I think, for 2 more.
Oh, they are doing... Okay, they are doing more. All right. I, for some reason, thought it was a limited series.
It might...
But anyway, keep going. So Altered Carbon is pretty dope. I know, what do you call it? Orphan Black was good.
Yeah, but that's been off air for...
That's been off the air for 2 years now, I know. But it was still good.
Lost in Space wasn't bad.
It was pretty bad. Sorry, it had a
it's
bad
watchable.
first
How
2
about this?
episodes. I can't tell you anymore after that.
No,
I know it had a bad first 2 episodes. Maybe it got good.
It got better. It got watchable.
Okay. There you go.
I think that... Actually, you're right. I just double-checked this.
Yeah.
It looks like it was limited.
Okay.
But there's no word on a second season. We're getting... whatchamacallit? We're
What?
getting more Narcos, which...
Yeah, they're doing it about Mexico next year.
You mean in 2 months?
Oh, it's in 2 months? Oh my
Yeah.
god. Wow. I'm psyched for that.
Yeah.
That's
It's
gonna
just
be good.
been...
Yeah, they've moved it to Mexico, and they're like, oh, now our location scout got murdered. Maybe we should cancel the show. But they decided to not cancel the show.
Yeah.
After a location scout gets murdered by banditos, it kind of makes you not want to do the show anymore. I completely get that.
Yes. But they nutted up.
Yeah,
We're
and
proud.
they kept doing it. They're like, yeah, it's an important topic, and it's important to understanding the world right now, is how all of this, the Mexican drug cartels got started. So, although it's not going to be as satisfying as the other seasons of Narco, because you can't arrest the guys at the end, because, you know, they're still out there.
Yeah,
The
I
drug
did like
cartels
the
are still
Cali
running
Cartels
Mexico.
season because it did follow.
Yeah. Pretty closely.
It followed fairly closely to reality.
Yeah.
As well, it followed. Whatchamacallit? It followed the Cali Cartel after Pablo, which was super interesting because you don't really you have to go pretty deep in order to get that sort of story. To be honest.
Yeah. No, they don't talk about it much. You're absolutely right. Like, that's not
Oh,
a
in
big
Western
part.
media, we just don't.
Yeah, they just leave it out. Like, once the big flashy guy is dead, you're like, okay, well, we beat... You know, in the same way the minute Hitler died, well, we don't have to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, we don't have to
once
talk about the
Pablo
Soviet
Escobar's
Union.
dead. Yeah, like, once Pablo Escobar's gone, we don't have to talk about it anymore, right? No,
Yeah.
Cali's pretty bad, too. But anyway, Travelers episode 209 once again got into how much are we allowed to change, which is nice.
Yep.
Because you've got a child molester running around.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the return, and it's like, he gets stopped in a couple of years. And how much damage is he going to do in those couple of years is the big question in the show. Like,
Yeah.
can eat what we ethically know. And the thing is, they had already done this over the guys who were killing children,
Yeah.
right? And that was, they got told not to, and it was a big deal, but they did it, and it was the right thing to do. Here, they're like, does this rise to the level where we have to do something about it? And I guess they decided it was, and I'm on their side, but I can see that there could be consequences for this one.
Well, there is one immediate and direct consequence.
Yeah.
A vessel was supposed to be a result of these horrible things happening to these
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yeah, because he was drunk driving.
Yeah.
And are there more of those that are supposed to happen?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
he
something
was
like
supposed to
I had
die
to
drunk driving.
I had to sit down with a scotch after that one and just be like, does that mean that he's, if not deliberately egging this on, he's allowing it to happen because it's providing hosts?
More
Yeah.
hosts. It's a good question, because here's the thing. We have to go backwards and say their engineer, right? If he didn't have all of the rage and assholeness that came with being a molested kid, would he have
been in
driven
pit
himself
fights?
to the point that he was doing frigging underground fighting at age 17 and getting himself killed?
Yeah.
Like, this guy molesting teenagers is probably why the engineer got that body. That's a pretty huge deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's again, it's opening up some big questions.
Yeah, it's some deep cuts if you're willing to sit there and be like, whoa,
Wait a
okay,
minute.
let's follow this chain of events backwards.
Yeah. Like, does the director need there to be a certain amount of awfulness out there for this to happen, right? And that's a good question.
Because what it boils down to is, does the director use the suffering of the past to save the future,
Yeah.
or attempt to?
And he does. I mean, you're right. I think you have to say he does. But again, is the director? I keep saying is the director gonna allow for a future where the director doesn't exist? Because if you fix the future well enough, there's no domes. You know, they didn't dig up a bunch of mountains in Canada to create, a final human city and build a supercomputer to save them in the past. Like that, if they fix the future, that all doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So, and this is going to sound crazy, do they have to, like, in order to... I mean, I'm not saying the director is eventually going to become the show's villain, right? I don't think that necessarily. But is the only deal they can make that the director will be okay with a deal where the director gets sent back to the past?
And yeah, it has to exist.
And gets to keep existing. And the point is, when that happens, does the director think that the director should still be in charge of humanity even in the past? Because is the director going to say, well, I saved you all from extinction, even though it's the past now, I still think I should be the one in charge to make sure nothing that bad happens again?
Yeah.
That's a very real possibility.
Like, people don't give this show enough credit. Not nearly enough, because it brings up some of these
Big issues.
Big issues, big questions.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to look at it more than an episodic show, you sit there and you go, holy shit, this is deep.
It is. Well, there's a lot of stuff, and here's the big one. They murder, they don't murder, no, I mean, how far along is that baby? Anyway, but the point is, they make sure she has a miscarriage, right?
Yep.
And because the director is like, she's not supposed to die, the baby, so we gotta take the baby out, because the baby was gonna kill her, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, we have to save her life. But here's the thing. I don't understand, like, I get why you're not supposed to breed in the past because you don't want to change the future, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly think that that's not as big a problem as the director imagines it is, because every friggin' day they're saving tens of thousands of people.
Well, here would be my counter.
That one person in the future,
that's evil.
one extra person in the future isn't going to make that big a difference compared to the huge number. I mean, they saved, by stopping the meteorite, they saved hundreds of thousands of people. Like, is the don't breed edict really that important in the face of the tens or hundreds of thousands of people whose lives they saved? Having one more person out there?
Actually,
I think I'm just going to tell you my suspicion, and you tell me your theory.
Okay.
My suspicion is that the don't breed edict is a way to keep the agents from feeling like they're a part of the past.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I was going. It's going to be like, it's to keep them in the past.
Focused on the future and ready to sacrifice themselves.
Exactly. As compared to, going
they are
rogue.
always travelers. They are always outsiders. But if they get married and have kids, they're going to feel like they're part of the world. And they might not be willing to make the sacrifices that the director's missions require.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, let's face it, most cops just want to go home to their families.
Yeah.
And if that means plugging some asshole who did 3 B&Es in a robbery, most of them will just be like, okay,
fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know
Worst
what?
case scenario, it's like, worst case scenario, I gotta talk to my union about this.
Oh, it's not quite that bad, but it's more like, if it's him or me, then no, that's a very easy choice.
Yeah, except often it's not him or me, because often they plant the gun on the person, but that's another conversation.
Often? Wow.
Enough that, not often, enough that it's an issue.
No. Just look at that sheriff's deputy in Colorado who was, like, beaten to death with a rock.
Jesus, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, remember, kids, lethal force is lethal force, center of mass. Just...
then again, that's true. But then again, there's nothing lethal force about someone running away from you. But there you go. Anyway, but the point is, they've, again, like you said, it's such a smart show.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. It is an incredibly smart show.
We have a new golden age of smart sci-fi.
Yeah, and I mean, this show is just, it's firing on all cylinders. I cannot wait to barrel into those last 12, those last episodes, 209 to 212, or is it, do they have a 13th episode, or is it to 212?
We'll go till the end of the season next week.
No, we're doing the end of the season. I just don't know if it's 3 or 4 episodes. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll find out when I watch it.
We're going to do it regardless.
We're going to do it next week. So, do you have a quiz?
What would you like it on?
I was hoping you had one for Barry, but if you don't, we can just do Travelers.
There's nothing really...
Jumps out of Barry for that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I do have one for Barry.
Okay.
I would like... Yeah, I know. I'm doing a quiz for the first time.
Yeah.
Name all of the movies... Like, we see their staged performances of various scenes from movies in their acting class. Name the two... was there more than 2, or was there just the 2 of those?
There's 5.
There's 5? Oh my god. So name 3 of them.
Yep.
Name 3 of the movies that were depicted in those sequences. There's one in the first episode, there's one in the second episode, and then there's
one in the third, more. 2 in the fourth.
Yeah, so there you go. So just name 3 of the movies that we saw scenes from in those, and you will win a prize. All right, so I think we've cleaned this place up effectively. Do you want to go close it out, and they can tell us how terrible a job we did?
Yeah.
Because no matter how much work we put in, we always get told we did a substandard job and got fired.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta say, if this game had a better map, like a map and a better scoring system, I really think they'd have something here.
I think it's because, like, we're missing optional things, like, put all the medical bins in this area. I'm like, this
Oh, I
area
know.
isn't marked, so I'm not going to put any bins anywhere but the incinerator.
Yeah, and the worst one is, if you do the quiz for bonus points, the quiz is like, oh, how many bullet shell casings did you find? How many bullet holes did you repair? Like, I don't know!
Speaking
What's
of, there
wrong
are
with you?
some... There's no shortage of bullet holes that we...
Yeah, but I already burned the gun, so...
Yep.
I burned the welder, like, in many ways I should not have, but I always forget to fix the bullet holes. That one's on me. So, sign us out, let's see how we did, and then we'll wrap up.
Yep. What?
Okay. Oh, what is this? This glowing purple screen. With, like, a handprint on it. Handprint sensor on it. My god, wouldn't it be great if there was a secret room to clean and we had to get into it by bringing the severed arm of one of the researchers? But that's probably not true.
We can only hope.
God, that would be fun, though. And that's the kind of secret I would not put past this game. Alright, let's see how we did. I'm so excited. Come on.
Come on, big money, over 67%.
Big money, no whammies.
Demoted.
Demoted! Damn it! I love the idea that they could call that the barest minimum required of us. Every single, bit of blood was removed.
Yeah.
There's no blood left anywhere. I'm a hovering space ball right now.
You decide to crack open a fat man and watch some alien porn on your Bitterman 500. Wow. So now we're drinking old milk. Space old milk.
Oh my god. That's so terrible. Alright. So yes, before we go, is there anything you'd like to recommend people? I know there's a game coming out you're pretty excited about.
Banner Saga 3. If you don't have any of the Banner Sagas, get on Twitch, or specifically Twitch Prime, They're making it rain on you hoes for the
Yeah,
month
it's
of July.
free right now.
Yes.
And you owe it to yourself. Twitch Prime, of course, Twitch Prime, you have to have an Amazon Prime account. And that
And
is
if you don't have
$80.
an Amazon Prime, what sort of backwards ass, you know, fraudulent are you?
Okay.
You get
I'm not going to be that controversial. I'm not going to be, confrontational. So.
okay. Let's be honest here. For $100, you get a year of a streaming service, both
You
music
get free shipping.
and video,
you get-
and free shipping on a service that everyone uses.
Yeah, and we all use Amazon all the time. And honestly, now at Twitch Prime, I will say this, they're being very good about regularly giving you free games.
Yes,
That-
I've
and
gotten a
it's not
game
like you
every
can-
2 days, and not like some shit ass game. I'm
they're
talking
good games.
Observe, Tyrant, Gone Home, Tacoma.
You know what was really nice? Metal Slug Collection.
Yep. I mean, I have my 6th or 7th copy of Banner Saga 22 now.
Yeah, you
Pillars of
can't
Eternity.
give that
So
one
come
away.
on.
No, yeah, no, it's kind of an amazing offer, frankly. I was like the whole month of July, they've just been crazy. And if you sign up now, you will be able to get a bunch of them. Like a lot of them haven't expired yet. So
Yeah.
I guess what I'm recommending is Amazon Prime. So there you go.
Guys.
Amazon Prime and the Banner Saga are this week's recommendations.
Seriously, Amazon Prime, not that bad. It's terrible on the Apple TV.
Yeah.
The formatting is a disaster, but on
Yeah.
PC it's great.
Oh
and
no,
you
it's
get
perfect. I just load it up on my PC all the time, and they've a ton of great shows on there.
yes,
I went on to Amazon and I watched every episode of a little show called Sweating Bullets.
there's The Path, there's The Shield, there's Night Manager.
And hopefully Night Manager Season 2 when it starts.
It's
airing.
already been
Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, that should be good. So check out. I guess we ended up shilling for Amazon Prime, which I was not expecting that. So
Hey, Amazon, if you're
worked out pretty
listening, give us
we
each
would
another
enjoy
year.
your sponsorship. Yes.
Like,
I just renewed mine. You just renewed yours, so they're gonna have to sponsor us in a different way. But hopefully they'll figure it out.
oh no, I don't mind. Just give me another year paid. Just we're good.
All right, so that's that. We will see you back here for more. But until then, oh yeah, and there's buttons to click on if you want to hear more from us. But we will see you back here for more. But until then, au revoir.
Deuces.